I thought this trip would save our marriage. That's how these stories always start, right? A hopeful fool, desperate to fix something already broken. But I wasn't just being naive. I knew something was wrong, and I believed, with every fiber of my being, that I could still make it right. Lisa and I had been married for 7 years. Not all of them were bad. In fact, the first few were incredible. We had that kind of love people envied, the kind that made others roll their eyes when they caught us sneaking kisses in public or whispering inside jokes at dinner parties. We were best friends first, lovers second. But at some point, that balance had shifted, and I hadn't noticed until it was too late. Work had swallowed me whole. I could admit that. Long nights, stress, coming home too drained to ask how her day was, or notice the way her voice lost its warmth over time. And Lisa? She had grown distant too. Not angry, not even resentful, just absent. We still had conversations, still made love, still existed under the same roof, but it was like she had one foot out the door, even when she was lying next to me in bed. I told myself it was just a rough patch. Every couple had them. And what better way to fix things than a dream vacation? A week at an all-inclusive beachfront resort, just the two of us. No work, no stress, just warm sand and cocktails with tiny umbrellas. Lisa had seemed excited when I told her about it. She hugged me, kissed me on the cheek, told me it was a wonderful idea. So why did I still feel that gnawing doubt in my gut? The moment we landed, things felt lighter. I convinced myself it was working. The resort was stunning. White sand, turquoise waves, palm trees swaying lazily under a golden sun. Our room was breathtaking, a spacious suite with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the ocean. Lisa gasped when she saw it, twirling in the middle of the room like a little kid. For the first time in months, I felt hope. That first night was magic. We had dinner under the stars, the warm breeze carrying the scent of salt and hibiscus. We drank too much wine, laughed about nothing and everything, and for a few perfect hours, it felt like we had found our way back to each other. When we got back to our room, she kissed me with a hunger I hadn't felt in years. Maybe, just maybe, we would be okay. The second day was just as perfect. We lounged by the pool, hands tangled together, sipping drinks and letting the sun melt away whatever weight we had carried here. Lisa seemed relaxed, genuinely happy. She took pictures of the ocean, her feet in the sand, us together, laughing. She posted one, captioning it, "Paradise with my love." And I believed it. That night, after dinner, she suggested we check out the resort's beachside bar. "One more drink before bed," she said, eyes sparkling under the fairy lights strung between the palm trees. So we went, and that's when I saw him. He was sitting at the bar, tall, tanned, effortlessly confident in that way people are when they belong somewhere. Like the world existed to entertain them. He had that surfer-wanderer look, loose linen shirt unbuttoned halfway, hair slightly damp, probably from the ocean. And Lisa saw him too. It wasn't immediate. Not like one of those dramatic moments in movies where time slows and everything else fades. No, it was more subtle. A flicker of recognition, a pause just long enough to make my stomach tighten. And then she turned back to me, smiling like nothing had happened, like she hadn't just looked right through me. I tried to shake it off. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was overthinking. But then she suggested we sit at the bar instead of finding a table, and I knew. At first, I told myself I was being paranoid. Lisa laughed, ordered us drinks, leaned into me when she talked. But I wasn't stupid. She kept glancing sideways, kept shifting in her seat, and when the guy finally caught her eye and smiled, she smiled back. It wasn't just polite. It wasn't just friendly. It was familiar. The first crack in my perfect getaway. I studied them as discreetly as I could, searching for anything that could confirm what I already feared. The way her posture changed, the way her fingers traced the rim of her glass, the way she seemed more present in this moment than she had been with me in months. And then he moved, just a slight shift in his seat, angling his body toward her, his elbow resting lazily on the bar as if they were already in the middle of a conversation. Lisa met his gaze again. This time, she held it. My stomach turned to ice. I cleared my throat, trying to snap her back to me. "Want to take a walk on the beach after this?" I asked, forcing a smile. She blinked, like she had forgotten I was there, then nodded quickly. Yeah, sure. But the moment had passed. We sipped our drinks in silence. Lisa kept sneaking glances at him, and I kept watching her, trying to decide if I was about to ruin our vacation by asking the question that had already taken root in my mind. Who is he? That night, I barely slept. Lisa lay beside me, her breathing slow, steady, as if nothing had changed, as if I hadn't just watched her make a silent connection with another man right in front of me. I kept replaying the way she looked at him, the way he looked at her. That wasn't a stranger's glance. That was history. The next morning, I woke up to an empty bed. For a second, panic gripped me. Then I heard the shower running. Lisa emerged a few minutes later, a towel wrapped around her, water dripping from her hair. She smiled when she saw me awake. Morning, she said, voice light like nothing was wrong. I swallowed down the unease. Morning. Sleep okay? She toweled off her hair and started getting dressed. I was thinking of heading down to the spa for a massage. Want to come? I hesitated. Part of me wanted to stay by her side, to make sure I wasn't just imagining things. But another part of me, a darker part, wondered if she was trying to get away from me. Nah, I think I'll just hang out by the pool for a bit, I said. She nodded, seemingly unfazed. Okay, see you later then. She kissed me on the cheek before she left. It felt rehearsed. The moment the door shut behind her, I sat up, heart pounding. I needed to know what was going on, and I knew exactly where to start. I should have confronted her. Right then, right there. But something held me back. Instead, I let her go, watching as she disappeared beyond the palm trees lining the resort's stone pathways. The moment she was gone, I threw on a shirt and headed downstairs. I didn't even know what I was looking for, just something to confirm what my gut already knew. The bar from last night was quiet in the morning sun, only a few staff members wiping down tables, setting up for another long day of overpriced cocktails and cheap vacation thrills. But I wasn't interested in drinks. I was looking for him, and then I saw him. He wasn't alone. He stood near the pool, talking to another guest, laughing easily, completely unaware that I was watching. Up close, he was even more infuriating. Handsome, athletic, the kind of guy who made life look effortless. And something about that pissed me off more than I expected. I walked past him, slow, deliberate, just close enough to hear his voice, just close enough to catch a name. Yeah, man, he was saying, running a hand through his sun-bleached hair. Lisa and I go way back. I stopped breathing. I kept walking like I hadn't heard, but my pulse was a drum in my ears. Lisa and I go way back. So this wasn't random. This wasn't some meaningless bar flirtation. This was history. I spent the next few hours spiraling, my mind twisting through every possible explanation. An ex? An old friend? Someone she just happened to run into at this exact resort, at this exact time? I knew one thing. She had lied. She had looked me in the eyes, kissed me goodnight, and let me believe this trip was about us. But now I wasn't sure it ever had been. When she came back to the room, glowing from her supposed spa visit, I forced a smile. I didn't say anything. Not yet, because now I needed to know everything. That night, I watched her more closely than ever. Every glance at her phone, every flicker of distraction in her eyes, every small moment where she seemed elsewhere. We went to dinner at one of the resort's fancier restaurants. Candlelight, ocean breeze, the scent of grilled seafood. Everything designed to be romantic. And yet, she was different. Present but distant. Engaged but detached. And then, midway through her second glass of wine, her phone buzzed. She reached for it instinctively. A quick glance. A small smile. I set my fork down. Who was that? Lisa looked up, almost startled. Huh, the text. Who was it from? She hesitated. Just for a second. But that was all I needed. Oh, just a friend. Nothing important. Which friend? She laughed lightly, like I was being ridiculous. Jesus, since when do you care who texts me? Since I saw you make eye contact with a stranger at a bar and pretend he didn't exist. I forced a chuckle, shaking my head. I don't. Just curious. She rolled her eyes, setting her phone face down on the table. You're acting weird. I'm acting weird? I took a sip of my drink, studying her. Was she really going to pretend like nothing was happening? Was she that confident that I wouldn't push? Or worse, was she hoping I wouldn't? The thought made my stomach churn. I couldn't let this go. Not now. After dinner, I suggested we take a walk along the beach. The night was warm, the ocean calm, the stars scattered across the sky. It should have been peaceful, but my mind was a storm. Lisa, I started, my voice careful. I saw you looking at that guy last night. She stopped walking, just for a second. Then she kept going. What guy? The one at the bar. She sighed. Come on, babe, I was just being friendly. Don't make a big deal out of nothing. Nothing. I turned to face her, stopping her in her tracks. Who is he? She blinked. The mask cracked just slightly. What? I heard him talking today. He said you two go way back. So tell me, who is he? Lisa opened her mouth, closed it, and in that moment I saw it. The lie forming, the truth being buried, the war behind her eyes as she decided what to say next. And just like that, I knew. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a secret, and I was about to find out just how deep it went. Lisa hesitated just a moment too long. In that brief silence, I saw the truth. Not in her words, because she hadn't spoken yet, but in the flicker of guilt that flashed across her face. In the way she inhaled, lips parting slightly, as if trying to decide whether to lie or come clean. I felt sick. Tell me the truth, Lisa. Who is he? My voice was steady, but inside, I was unraveling. She looked away, her fingers tightening around the strap of her purse. It's not what you think. I let out a dry laugh. That's not an answer. She swallowed, eyes darting past me as if searching for an escape. His name is Daniel. We used to know each other. A long time ago. It's nothing. Nothing. That word again. I was so damn tired of it. Defy used to know each other, I said, my jaw tightening. Lisa sighed, rubbing her forehead like this conversation was exhausting her. Like I was the problem here. We dated. Years ago. It wasn't serious. I haven't seen him since. I didn't even know he'd be here. Her words were carefully chosen, her tone light, dismissive. But I wasn't buying it. Not anymore. So you just happened to run into an ex-boyfriend on our vacation? And you just happened to act like you'd never seen him before? I shook my head. I don't believe you. Lisa huffed, crossing her arms. You're being ridiculous. Am I? I stepped closer, my voice low. Then tell me, why did he look at you like he already knew how this was going to play out? Why did you look at him like you were remembering something you shouldn't? She flinched, just slightly. But enough. I exhaled sharply, my heart pounding. Lisa, are you cheating on me? The words hung between us, thick and suffocating. For a moment, she said nothing, and that silence was the loudest answer I could have gotten. Tears welled in her eyes, and she finally whispered, I didn't mean for this to happen. A cold, bitter laugh escaped me. So that's a yes. It wasn't planned, I swear. I saw him, and she broke off, covering her mouth like she wanted to take the words back. I don't know what to say. I stared at her, at the woman I had trusted, the woman I had planned my life around. And suddenly, I didn't recognize her at all. The ocean roared in the distance, waves crashing against the shore, as my world fell apart. You should have told me the moment you saw him, I said, my voice hollow. Instead, you lied. You let me sit across from you at dinner, pretending everything was fine. Lisa wiped at her tears. I was scared. Scared of what? Getting caught. My voice was sharper now. Or scared of admitting you already made your choice. She didn't answer, because we both knew the truth. She had made her choice the moment she looked at him. And now I had to make mine. I didn't sleep that night. I spent hours on my phone, booking a new flight, making arrangements, planning. By the time Lisa woke up, I was already dressed, my suitcase packed. Where are you going? She asked groggily, rubbing her eyes. I smiled. Oh, I have a surprise for you. Suspicion flickered in her eyes, but she nodded, stretching. What is it? I thought we could take a break from the resort today. Do something special. Just us. Lisa hesitated. I could see the conflict in her expression, guilt, curiosity, relief. Okay. I led her down to the beach, where I had arranged a private boat tour. A secluded little ride along the coast. Just her and me. As we set sail, the ocean stretched endlessly around us, the resort fading in the distance. Lisa was quiet, fidgeting with her hands. Maybe she sensed something was off. Lisa, I said, my voice calm. Tell me again how you didn't mean for this to happen. She turned to me, startled. I, I told you everything. I made a mistake, but I pulled my phone from my pocket and held it up. You mean like this? Her face drained of color as I played the video, a recording from last night of her and Daniel at the beach bar. Whispered words, lingering touches. A kiss. You recorded me? She gasped. I shrugged. Had to be sure. Her mouth opened and closed, panic settling in. What are you going to do? I pocketed my phone, leaning back casually. Oh, don't worry. I've already sent copies to a few people. Friends. Family. Even Daniel's girlfriend. Oh yeah, he's in a relationship. Did you know that? Lisa's breath hitched. You're lying. Am I? I smirked. Guess you'll find out when we get back. She reached for my phone, but I pulled it away effortlessly. Nah, Lisa, you don't get to control the narrative this time. You made your choice. Now, you live with it. Lisa stared at me, her expression twisting from anger to realization to something close to fear. The boat rocked gently beneath us, the ocean vast and merciless around us. For the first time, she was the one who felt powerless. And damn, it felt good.